Uncertainty is the greatest gift that the universe can ever offer you. And the vast majority of people, whenever they experience any kind of moment of uncertainty, it brings along this feeling of they're not good enough, they don't have what it takes, they're not intelligent enough, they start to doubt themselves, they feel burnt out, they don't know how to rest, they don't know how to slow down for a second and connect with themselves. And so they always feel like they need to be, especially if you're like an entrepreneur or a very ambitious-minded person, you constantly feel like you need to work 24/7 in order to solve your problems, in order to get to that next level in your life. And yet it's not actually working for you. You're not getting to that next level. You're not experiencing an exceptional reality where you have total confidence and total power in your life. I'm telling you right now, in some aspect, you are not embracing uncertainty. And I think this is one of the biggest things that does hold people back on their journey. And they don't recognize the beautiful synchronicity that is uncertainty. And when you are totally okay with whatever happens to you in your experience, this is the thing that actually catalyzes all of your greatest manifestations to be a part of your reality, to experience them right now. And this comes with being in a high vibrational frequency. And so in this video, I'm going to break this down for you because of all the things that I know that I provide value to people with. And if I ever talk to any of my clients, and if I ever talk with any of my friends, of all the perspectives that I provide, they tell me the common feedback that I get is their ability to tolerate the uncertainty and be okay with whatever is going on in their reality, which provides the foundation for you to create the reality that you want. This is the thing. And this is the thing that every single person, I don't care who you are, I don't care how massively successful you are, if you're a millionaire and you're watching this right now, or you're just starting out on your journey, every single person is kind of lost if you think about it. The vast majority of people, unless you're a spiritually enlightened person like Jesus Christ, Buddha, Vishnu, Kishnu, whatever other prophets or messiahs that have came forth before us, unless you're like enlightened at that level, everyone's kind of lost. And within that lostness, you can derive your path and you can find yourself, but also recognize the fact that uncertainty is a part of the human experience. And the more you can allow for uncertainty, you actually allow for greater manifestations to enter into your experience. Okay, so let's jump into this. Now, the first thing I'm going to go over, and if you didn't know what that was you running away from uncertainty. You're all scared. And you have difficulty embracing the discomfort. That's what we're here to do. We're here to flip the script on that. And it's really not that hard. It really just takes a perspective shift because your mindset is determining your reality. Principle of mentalism. Everything is mental. So when you start to mentally understand what uncertainty is trying to provide you, then you chill the fuck out. And the first part I'm going to go over here is about masculine and feminine dynamics. And this is a very hot topic on Instagram and on YouTube, right? There's all these podcasts of people telling you what a masculine man or a feminine woman needs to be. And there's all these labels that they put on. And a lot of it is true, right? There is a lot of truth in what these people are talking about, and what they're ascribing to is a masculine man or a feminine woman. And also there is tremendous overlap. What I very rarely see people actually talk about, because it's not viral, right? All the things that fucking go viral is shit that causes triggering and agitation in you. So then you respond to it and you comment on it, or you like it, or you send it to a friend, right? But the deeper layer of truth is that every single person has both masculine and feminine. Men and women, or if you're trans and you identify as they, them, or whatever your fucking pronouns are, right? You have a masculine and a feminine polarity. And to the degree that you integrate these will determine how you embrace uncertainty and ultimately how you manifest the things you want in your life in the first place. Because cultivation of integration is high vibrational frequency. Okay, and I'm going to make this make sense for you, because when you think about masculine, especially when it comes to taking action, masculine is like order, right? The logic and the reasoning that goes behind this, okay? And feminine is chaos. Now, whenever you hear this, right, you think chaos is like bad, right? People, this is what I mean. Uncertainty is bad. Chaos is bad. But that's simply not the case, because if you actually understand what chaos and order are, at the polarity of chaos, there is infinite possibility. This is where synchronicity happens in the first place. This is where the greatest ideas that change the world happen in the first place. Okay, it's because you're using your creative intelligence, your genius levels of thought to find solutions and to identify problems that you wouldn't be able to identify if you were only looking at everything from a logical, reasoning-oriented perspective, okay? And so it's like, you want to have some level of order and you want to have some level of structure to how you go about your life. But also, if there's too much order, what does that descend into? It descends into tyranny, tyrannical, tyrannitar, okay? Now, you don't want tyranny either, because if you're way too rigid with your life, right? And you know who I'm talking about. You know the types of people that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about tyranny as in like the dictator who mustard gases his population. Let's use a more pragmatic example of your everyday life. You will know that you are way too masculine or hyper masculine or uncalibrated masculine if you think that if you deviate from this one specific strategy and you don't work 16 hours a day and you're absolutely perfectly consistent 100% of the time, and if you don't do these things and you won't be successful, you are uncalibrated masculine. You are way too rigid. I'll write that word up here, rigid. When I think about people that are misaligned from the higher level perspective, I think of someone who is way too rigid. And the thing about being a rigid person is that oftentimes, even if you do take action, it's coming at the crack of a whip. You are badgering and butchering yourself in order to take action when there is a much simpler path. There's a path that has less resistance. The path of least resistance. You often hear this in the spiritual community. And you wouldn't be able to uncover the path of least resistance, the thing that aligns for you, if you didn't cultivate spiritual and energetic alignment in the first place. But the thing is, with all these gurus and all these fake leaders, these people that are supposedly trying to give you a positive and empowering message, what they're actually doing is creating a bunch of guilt and shame, because if you don't show up as X person, that means you're not masculine enough. Or if you're not this type of woman, that means you're not feminine enough. Only you are the person that decides who you are in your reality. Do not let other people label you. Do not adhere to other people's ideas of who you are supposed to be. Become a sovereign being and determine who you are in your reality by giving yourself permission to have what it is that you want and allowing yourself to show up in whatever way you see fit. Now, within this, you can use frameworks and concepts to understand how to become your most powerful self, right? And it's not one or the other, it's integration, right? It looks like a snake eye. It's integration, it's balance between the two. Okay, so if you're a hyper-masculine man and it's extremely rigid and it's hard and it's difficult and you're burnt out and you're tired, and by the way, the same thing happens to women as well, you constantly work and work and work and you have no time to like rest and recalibrate and reflect and connect with yourself on a deeper level, well then you need more feminine. You need more of a feminine connection with yourself. Or if you find yourself binge watching Netflix and not doing anything difficult and absolving yourself of the responsibility of being a human and taking consistent action on the things that are worthwhile in life, well, then you're probably too much in the feminine polarity. So you need to take some responsibility and man up and go take massive action and go do something difficult so that way you can become a formidable human, okay? Because the feminine polarity is reflective. The masculine polarity is action-oriented, all right? And the combination of these is what makes you an absolutely powerful human being, whether man or whether woman or trans, right? Pansexual, whatever the fuck, right? The combination of these two things is what makes you a powerful human being, powerful beyond belief. It's what makes you an excellent manifester of your reality, okay? Because think about, I like to study extremely like uberly successful people, like billionaires, people that are massive celebrities, people that have a huge following or very influential, people that create revolutionary items, the master teachers of time, right? How are they able to cultivate this kind of reality where everything goes their way, where they have this larger than life personality or they have this larger than life persona to who they are? How are they able to do that? Well, it's both. Because oftentimes, and I often say this, that people that don't know how to rest also don't know how to work hard. People that don't know how to rest also don't know how to work hard. And if you think about this, like there's an interview, this is more of a recent example. I saw an interview between Lex Fridman and Jeff Bezos, and Lex Fridman was asking him like the typical questions of like, what's your daily routine or whatever? And side note, I don't believe in daily routines in the sense of like, you need to do everything in a specific structure at the same time every single day. I have a routine of what I do every single day, but I do it in different order, but I still get all the same things done. Side note. But he was asking Jeff Bezos, he goes, what's your morning routine? And Jeff Bezos is like, yeah, I just kind of wake up in the morning and I putter around for like an hour before I, start doing anything productive, right? Which is very contrary to what you think about being successful. All these people that are like, you need to take a cold plunge, and you need to journal, and you need to do gratitude exercise, and then you need to sage your apartment and sage your house, and then you need to read a tarot card and get your reading for the day, and then all these fucking like stupid spiritual exercises, right? And interestingly, one of the most successful and impactful humans of all time is like, I just wake up and I putter around for an hour. I'm just walking around drinking a coffee and just taking in the day, just starting the day slow, right? That's a very reflective, that's a very less action-oriented type of activity, okay? So it's cultivation between masculine and feminine that allows you to show up more powerfully in your real world. And this is also how you'll be able to embrace uncertainty. I'm going to tie back into why this is such a powerful tool for understanding how you show up as a human in terms of embracing uncertainty, because in the infinite possibility is where the uncertainty comes from, right? And this is where, when you tap into this, you'll be like Jeff Bezos. Maybe you won't be a billionaire, right? But you can operate in that same way where you're so in flow with yourself, you don't need to work 20-hour days in order to be successful for 20,000 years on end, right? All of this like super hyper masculine, exaggerated shit. You can work, you're gonna work, of course. Like there is no absolving yourself of working hard. Yes, you're gonna have to get up and take action. Yes, you're gonna have to do things that are uncomfortable. Yes, you're gonna have to put yourself out there and conquer your fears and conquer your insecurities. But you can do it in a much more flowing kind of way that doesn't feel so rigid, that doesn't drain you of your soul, that doesn't drain you of your life force. And it's in the uncertainty that you start to embody this, okay? Because in the uncertainty is where you start to tap into like the right side of your brain, where you're tuned into your creative genius, and you can think in very abstract ways, in very divergent ways, that helps you to find a solution to your problem, whatever challenge you're running into, whether it's money, whether it's social problems, whether it's a business problem, whether it's a marital problem, whether it's a health and fitness problem, whatever the case might be, you can tune into the infinite possibility of all the potential solutions that there are out there and find the right one, right? And write this down. I want you to write this down. There is no perfect solution and there is no perfect strategy. This is why I hate all these marketing gurus that I've got the one tip that's going to take your business to 14 figures. I have the one strategy that will finally make everything click for you. That's BS. The thing that actually makes everything click for you is in the toleration and understanding and realizing and fully embodying what the gift of uncertainty is. This is what I call self-mastery. The only tip, the only trick that you need in your life is self-mastery. When you are a master of yourself, you already know it's like knowing 2 + 2 = 4. You know inherently that uncertainty is actually one of the greatest gifts that the world and the universe is providing you, because uncertainty is a part of the human experience at every single level. And even if you're massively successful, even if people perceive you as this crazy human being that is a complete outlier in your reality, you are still going to experience uncertainty. Every single person is lost. If you think about this at the highest levels, every single person is trying to tell the world and compel the world that their view is the correct one, that their message is the right one, that their idea is the one that's actually the correct perspective, when in truth, everything is but a half-truth. Everything is mental. What you perceive to be true about your reality will impact the physical dimension of what you live. As above, so below, right? Go look at the Hermetic principles. The law of polarity, we're talking about polarity here. Everything is but a half-truth, okay? And so if everything is a half-truth, that means what you believe to be true about your reality, you are going to experience more of that. Okay, so in these moments of uncertainty, if you view it as a negative, this is the summation of the point. This is the point that I'm hitting at here, and I'm elaborating on it at a great extent so that you can understand this from all different angles. But the whole point here is that if you view uncertainty as bad, then you will have a bad experience of it. If you view times where you don't know what the path is for you, and the path disappears, and you're not sure where, maybe you're running a business, you're not sure where your next client is going to come from, or you're not sure where the startup capital is going to come from for your new project, or you're not sure how quickly you're going to make progress, and you're worried about where the right people in your life are going to show up, whether it's maybe a romantic partner, you're not sure where your future husband or your future wife is going to show up from, or you're not sure about a type of problem that you're experiencing in your health, right? You don't know what the right solution is to that, okay? If you view those times as something negative and you did something wrong and you're not worthy of that next level of success and you're not worthy of importance and love, then your experience of uncertainty is going to be negative. And this is where you flip the script on this. However, when you view it as good, when you view moments of uncertainty and confusion where you're not sure what's going on, you're not sure why things aren't working the way you intended them to, and you relax into the gift of uncertainty and view it as good, then you will derive a good experience from it. You understand this? This also goes into polarity. Good and bad are varying degrees of the same thing as well. Okay, so if you think that anything is bad in your life, well, guess what? You're going to have a bad experience of it. But if you think it is good and if you think it is positive, then you will have a good experience of it. And guess what? Guess who manifests things? Guess what type of person manifests things at the highest levels in an effortless way? The people that view everything that happens to them as good. People that have gratitude for everything that happens to them. Think about this from like a God. Let's say you were God, and you are, but let's say you were the God, the all, the one consciousness. And you made all these beautiful people on this planet. And here's this one person that you've blessed them with a certain level of comfort and security, and you've given them food and water and shelter and nature and animals and life and air and all the things that make life beautiful. And here this person is, right? You've given them such an awesome experience, especially in modern day, in the modern era with technology and running water, and you gave them a house over their head and all these different things. But then that person is complaining that I'm not a billionaire, or I'm not super famous and successful, or I haven't met the love of my life. There must be no good partners out there, right? How would you react to this person? Would you be excited to bless them with even more? Right? Would you be excited to bless this one creature, this one fragment of consciousness with more abundance when they're complaining about how they don't have anything, even though they have everything that they could ever ask for, all the things that they need? They have everything that they need, but they want more and more, and they're disgruntled about the fact that they don't have more. How would you react if you were God, if you were a parent to this child? You'd be like, bro, fuck you. Yeah. Now, obviously, this is kind of like a silly example, but it's the truth. The more you can view your entire experience and circumstance as good, the more God is going to bless you with even greater levels of abundance and confidence and power and truth and beautiful experiences and spontaneous and synchronistic events to fall into your reality. Okay? And by the way, this is how you actually manifest. This is called indirect manifestation. Whenever direct manifestation is when you're like, okay, I need to make $100,000 in this amount of time, or I need to make $10,000 by next week, and I'm going to manifest it under somewhere because I'm going to focus on this vision and focus and focus and focus and focus. You're trying to do direct manifestation. And guess what? You're making it very important. Okay? You're making your manifestation a very important thing, because the more you focus on it, by the way, the more you're focused on a specific number, especially with money, the more you're actually telling the universe and you're telling the world, I don't have this right now. Okay? So indirect manifestation is, okay, this is what I want to make, and I let infinite possibility bring it to me. I'm totally okay with wherever it comes from. I'm detached from the outcome, okay? And this is ultimately a good relationship with uncertainty when you're detached. Does it make sense for you guys? When you're detached from the outcomes, you're not worried if you have uncertainty, right? You're not worried about being confused. You wouldn't even be confused. You'd be like, okay, it's coming from somewhere, and I totally trust in my path, and I totally trust in the guidance and the good omens that are being placed upon me in my life. And I just trust that. I trust God. I trust the signs. I trust my reality to bring to me what it is that I want in whatever time frame is necessary in God's divine timing. So whether that happens in 6 days or 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years, I'm just present to the journey. I actually did a whole video on this. I'll drop a link, or I'll put the video here, or I'll drop a link in the description of the previous video that I did on God's divine timing. This is all just a deeper explanation so that you can have a better association with uncertainty in the first place and allow for more peace and ease and flow and synchronicity to enter into your experience. And I wanted to give it from the masculine and feminine perspective of, okay, work, take action, and also let go, allow yourself to have moments of rest and recalibration and celebration, and allow for that feminine energy, the integrated feminine energy, right? Again, like I said before, feminine energy, especially in men, doesn't mean that you paint your nails and you start acting like a girl. That's not what feminine energy is. That's trans bullshit. And same thing with women. Being a masculine man doesn't mean all of a sudden that you're this big, loud, obnoxious person who's got big muscles and doesn't take shit from anybody, like that type of mentality. No, like being, especially as a woman, being in your masculine means you know how to establish boundaries, you know how to go take action and support yourself, you know how to be self-sufficient to some degree. And at the moment that you find a right partner, you can totally relax because you're also femininely integrated. You can totally support your partner from an active feminine way, not an unconscious, right? There's also a popular narrative, especially if you're a woman watching this. There's this popular narrative that whenever I get around a guy who's really masculine, my brain shuts off and I stop thinking and I don't have to do anything because he's taking care of everything. Do you realize that's also that's very unconscious feminine? Whenever women talk about these on podcasts and shit, they're literally outing themselves as unconscious feminine, because active feminine integration is you totally support your partner and you are actively supporting them on their journey and being proactive about it rather than just sitting around and letting nothing happen. This is where like all these women want to be. They just want to be a housewife and not do anything and just take care of the kids and give them a shower or make them food or whatever. Like they want to do absolutely nothing. That's unconscious feminine. Act like a positive connection and a positive correlation with feminine is one in which you are not only masculinely integrated from a perspective of you can get up and take action, but you also provide proactive support, right? You provide a level of warmth and a level of emotional healing to your masculine partner. And that's done through active integration, not sitting around and just turning off your brain and being a robot, okay? So a little side note here, but you guys understand this, masculine and feminine dynamics, every single person has both. And the more you embrace this, the more you start to tap into effortless existence. And also too, this is where your intuition starts to play a massive role in your journey and in your progress. Because when you're tuned into your intuition, it's like you can see things that aren't there. The thing is, if you're working 24/7, 12 hours a day, every single day, nonstop forever, it's like you don't even have a moment in time to like listen to your intuition. You don't have a moment in time to listen, right? So it's sit down, reflect, meditate, connect, and also go take massive actions. Like both. It's both. Both are necessary. Be the thinker and the doer. Thinker and doer. Okay. Now, I want to go over the mirror principle. And just like I was saying before, your association with uncertainty is going to determine your experience of it. And the reason I want to bring up the mirror principle, this comes from Reality Transurfing, which is hands down my favorite book, number one favorite book as it relates to personal growth and development, success, being your best self, being completely unapologetic, tuning into your power. Reality Transurfing. If you haven't read the book, go read it now, or there's like a free YouTube audio. And the mirror principle is, the mirror world is chapter 18. It's one before the final chapter, I believe. And it gives a very freeing perspective on any kind of uncertainty that you experience. And so you want to think of the mirror principle as the world is a mirror. And it is taking care of you. Now, I know for some of you, you hear this, the mirror is taking care of me? What do you mean by that? Jose, my life is hard. I have no money and I have no opportunity and my employees are all quitting on me. My partner just left me and blah, 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 all the whatever problem or challenge that you are experiencing right now. The world is taking care of you. This is a very triggering thing to understand. It's almost like, if you ever had like a friend or a parent or something that abused you and then they tell you, I love you, I'm really proud of you. You're just like, you have no trust for them. You're like, what the fuck you mean? Okay. Well, it's kind of the same thing. It's like you've developed a mistrust or a distrust of your world and you don't trust that it's actually supporting you and serving you in your life. That's why I'm saying from before, okay, if you have a negative association with uncertainty and you think uncertainty is bad, well, guess what? You're going to experience more bad things. But if you view all of your challenges and everything that is happening to you as it is serving you, everything you are experiencing is serving you, no matter what the experience might be, then you derive a positive experience from it. And I write this down in bold letters because this is ultimately what changes your perspective. Everything you experience is serving you. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care if it's family members that are dying. I don't care if you're extremely sick. I don't care if your business failed. I don't care if your partner left you. Whatever the case might be, I'm telling you, you can derive a positive connotation, a positive reference experience from everything that happens to you under any circumstance. If a Holocaust survivor can forgive the Nazi soldier that killed their entire family and burned them to ashes, you can find forgiveness for yourself and for anybody and anything that causes you harm in your life. And this takes a very forgiving personality, a forgiving mindset, a forgiving heart, and this takes a lot of grace, and this is ultimately taking the high road from a spiritual perspective. And when you take the high road from the spiritual perspective, it feels like shit sometimes. It feels like you're letting people off the hook. It feels like you're not giving people their karma, whatever the case might be, okay? And that's exactly what's going on. You just let it go. Because hate to another is hate for the self. Resentment towards another is resentment towards yourself. The mirror principle. Your entire life is a mirror for what you think and feel about it. And so if you think everything sucks and you're a nihilistic person and you're pessimistic about everything, the world is going to shit, the country's descending into chaos, oh my gosh, I can't believe, look at the presidents that we have. Oh my gosh, look at all the problems that this world is encountering. Guess what? You have a negative view, a negative mirror of the light, of your life, of this reality. However, when you view everything as beautiful and synchronistic, look outside, go outside. Beautiful clouds, beautiful sky, beautiful trees. There's water everywhere. There's food everywhere. There's beautiful people to interact with. Guess what? You experience better things. All of it revolves around your mindset. And whether you are conscious of this or not, the mirror is taking care of you. It is supporting you in your experience. You're disgruntled about a partner leaving you when you have no idea what horrors the world you have no idea the horrors and the negativity that God is protecting you from. You think that the fact that your business failed and no one bought your product or bought your service is bad, and that the universe is unfair while all these other people are shitty and lack integrity and aren't heart-centered people, and that yet they're making all the money. I must be doing something wrong, or the world hates me, or something like that, right? The reason that is happening is because it is serving you, it's protecting you from something, and you can't tell, you can't know this from the physical mind. From the physical perspective, from your mind, you can't possibly know all of the answers in the chaotic polarity, in the infinite possibility. But when you relax and you tune into your higher mind and you recognize the fact that everything that is happening to me is serving me to some degree, whether I am conscious of this or not, then you actually start to find peace and clarity and groundedness and start to find direction within the uncertainty. Do you understand how this is a very powerful mind frame to come from when it comes to embracing uncertainty in the first place? Everything is happening for you. Everything is happening to you. And in truth, if you experience negative circumstances because of your judgmental mind, it's simply a detour. And that detour is providing some kind of beneficial outcome. Let's say you're focused on business. And you want to make a bunch of money. You want to be successful and you want to be confident in yourself. And then all of a sudden things go to shit. You have no idea what's going on. You might shake your fist at the world. Why is this happening to me? Why me? And the world is a mirror. It's like a friend. And that mirror is walking with you the entire path, and it's reflecting to you everything that you think and feel about yourself. And so you're here shaking your fist, and the world and the mirror are like, all right, we'll just keep sending you more bullshit, right? And it took you on this detour. And you're thinking that this detour is something bad and negative, and you must have done something negative to deserve this, or you're not good enough, right? But really, it's just showing you different aspects of life. It's showing you different frames of reference of which you can actually derive more power and meaning. It's like, think about this. It's taking you to the candy store, the mirror. This is the literal example it uses in the book. the kid is walking with the mirror, and the kid wants to go to the candy store. And it's looking at the mirror. The mirror's like, yep, we're going to the candy store. And the kid looks up and he's like, we're in a forest. Like, where are we? And the kid starts panicking. Wait, we're not at the candy store. What's going on? What's going on? Right? And the mirror's like, all right, if you want to panic, go ahead. The mirror's going to let you reflect whatever it is that you want. Okay. So the kid's freaking out. And then the mirror, eventually they do get to the candy store, and he's like, yeah, I just wanted to show you some cool stuff. Right? I just wanted to show you some other aspect of reality that maybe you weren't considering. And there was something beautiful to be experienced in that. But because you were panicking the entire time, you weren't able to receive it. And so it took forever for us to get to the candy store in the first place. Your life is exactly the same. And so the more that you panic, and the more that you complain, and the more that you feel frustrated, and the more that you are extremely rigid with your expectations, the farther away you are pushing your manifestations. And so all you simply need to do is hold the vision. Hold the vision of what it is that you want. Hold the vision of what you want, and let the path unfold with you without judgment. And the most important part here is without judgment. Stop judging yourself. Stop judging your path. Stop judging every little thing that goes negatively and thinking that you're doing something wrong, or thinking that you don't deserve success and love and importance, whatever it is that you're looking to cultivate in your life. If you just hold the vision of what it is that you want, whatever it is, so a certain amount of money, a certain car, a certain job, a certain house, a certain friendship, a certain type of lifestyle, a certain fun experience, a certain travel adventure, whatever the case might be. And you hold that vision in your head, and you allow whatever comes up to come up in your reality, whether positive or negative, whatever the case might be, and you just allow yourself to live out your journey and to live out your destiny. Well, guess what? That is ultimately how you transcend to the point in life where that vision becomes your reality, where that confidence just exudes out of your energy, where you start to live in such a high vibrational state, and you're so in flow with whatever happens to you that life comes to you. This is how you flip the script on uncertainty. And when you recognize the fact that the mirror is supporting you and is advocating for you, and that the universe is conspiring for you to achieve greatness, guess what? The mirror goes, here you go. Really, really interesting how that happens. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about here. And I know this resonates for you because you've had moments like this in the past. You've had moments at some point in your life, whether it was for a few weeks or for a few months, that you just had flow. Things were flowing for you. You were making more money than ever before. You were magnetic in conversation automatically. And you just seemed to stay consistent on your goals and on your dreams, or whatever the case might be. And then something happened that it knocked you off balance, and you haven't been able to find that balance. You haven't been able to understand and tune into your higher power, right? And so you're struggling to figure it out. I'm telling you right now, it's like you already know all this information, right? You already know to do this, because you know if you were to relax your nervous system, right? The reason that people panic is because their nervous system is all out of whack. But if you were to just relax into the moment and view everything that happens to you as, this is just a part of the plan, this is just a part of the path, this is supposed to happen for some specific reason, and I'm learning something from this, and there is a major takeaway from this that dramatically benefits my life. Well, if you just had that perspective, it's like, there's nothing to be upset about. There's nothing to be disgruntled about. There's nothing to question why me, or no one to shake your fist at, because you recognize the God in every situation, and that you are a God in every situation. I'm telling you right now, this is the ultimate frame of mind when it comes to embracing uncertainty, and even the cultivation between the masculine and the feminine. And when you live your life like this, it's like, that's the type of person that wins at the highest levels. That's the type of person that not only makes a bunch of money, but does so in a way that they don't have to work 12 to 14 hour days every single day and grind their soul into the ground doing something that they fucking hate, and all that just to feel important, or just to get a little bit of status, or just to feel like they have control over their lives. The dichotomy of life is that you never really have control. And by embracing this, the fact that you never have control, what do you gain? You gain control. And I laugh at this because it's so paradoxical. Life is one big paradox, rather. Well, I guess it is a parody. But the more you understand this is also why I say, even when I don't feel confident, I am confident. How does that make sense? So when you don't feel confident, you feel confident in yourself? Yes, because everything is dichotomous. Everything has half truths to it. Okay, so even when I don't feel confident in myself, I feel massively confident in who I am because I've taken out all of the emotional energy that comes with confidence in terms of being dependent on the world in order for me to feel confident in myself. And I just feel confident however I show up, however I'm being, whatever circumstance I find myself in. I love it and I'm extremely grateful for it. I have zero judgment for whatever happens to me. That is ultimately how you gain control over your reality. Even when you don't have control, you are in control. Do you understand how freeing this is? You should be feeling just a feeling of relief wash over your body, literally. Like a weight is off your shoulder, like the monkey's off your back, the orangutan is off your back, and the primate is off your back. And you should feel this way because it genuinely eliminates any kind of overthinking, any kind of pressure that you put on yourself, any kind of importance, okay? Because importance is the thing. When you make something very important, you have extremely rigid expectations of how that is supposed to show up. And so that is the essence of hypermasculine in the first place. Importance, 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 importance. Let go of importance, the importance of everything, right? Because when you assign great importance to things, you are assigning great judgment to it. You are viewing it as this big, arduous task, right? If you run into a challenge, oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is like the most important thing in my life and I have to overcome this right now. If not, my life is fucked. And guess what? You push away your manifestations. You push away everything that's meant for you. You push away the path of least resistance. When you're just open to what happens to you and you're in flow with that. And then you also integrate this from a very powerful, penetrative energy where you're massively confident in who you are and the path that you are walking. It's like that kind of person is unstoppable in any category. That kind of person is like, that's the person you want as your husband. That's the person you want as your business partner. That's the human that you want on your team, because people like that are so incredibly rare. People that are not only heart-centered and have this intuition and have this flow to them, but also are extremely, extremely consistent and disciplined and all these different things, right? Very difficult to find people like that. And so if you do find someone like that and their intuition is sound, it's like, you better do everything you possibly can to get that person on your team. I'm telling you, it's very rare, extremely rare. And I said this before, but I'll remind you guys. As we're wrapping up here in this video, everyone is lost. One of my favorite words is compassion. And I think oftentimes, especially in like the personal growth and development space, and you look at all these entrepreneur bro gurus that are like, go grind 100 hours per day. And if you don't have a six pack, then you're fired and all that stuff. And I know why they're talking this way. They wouldn't actually fire someone for not having a six pack. If someone is making you a bunch of money in sales and they don't have a six pack, you're not just going to fire them, right? But they're making a very hyperbolic point in order to gain attention. So I understand that perspective. So the point here is that every single person is lost to some degree. And everyone is trying their best to gain control out of their reality, to make meaning out of it, to get some level of discernment or to compel the world that their view and their idea is the correct one. And in truth, everyone's just kind of pointing at the same stuff and has their own interpretation of it. And the more you take this higher level approach, the more you find a level of compassion for literally everything that happens to you. Everything that happens to you, everything that happens to someone else. And you can see someone else in their pain and not judge them for it. And you can see yourself in lostness and you can see yourself in uncertainty and not be too critical on yourself or beat yourself up, because ultimately, the thing that creates a negative self-fulfilling prophecy is that negative mental chatter, that negative self-belief, or that limited mindset of, oh, I must not be good enough, or I must have done something wrong, or I must have made a big mistake, or had a huge error that led to this negative circumstance for myself. And in truth, it's like I was saying before, there is no perfect solution. You can have the exact perfect solution and apply it, and it still doesn't work out. And if you judge yourself too critically, it's like it becomes very difficult to actually get out of that negative circumstance in the first place, because you just have so much negative momentum, right? And when you come from a place of compassion, okay, compassion for your mind, for everything. This allows for a greater level of creative energy and creative spontaneity and synchronicity to enter into your experience. Because if you love everything without judgment, everything that's happening to you, you love it. Like, you're just totally present to it. You're totally present to your journey, totally present to your destiny. It might feel like shit in the moment. Like, you still might feel heartbreak. You still might feel stressed. You still might feel depressed. You still might feel anxious and uncertain about where the solution is going to come from, or where your manifestation is going to become realized, right? But also from a higher level perspective, you just relax into the moment. And there's none of that harsh triggering and that anxiety or that tunnel vision, that tunnel vision when you're in an anxious state where it's just like, you can't even like see in front of you. It's like your vision becomes blurry and you can't even think critically, and you become your own biggest enemy in that moment, right? It's like all of that will just relax, right? Because when you're in a state of stress, right? When you're stressed, you're literally out of alignment. Stress is the biggest killer in the world, in the Western world rather, right? Stress literally causes heart disease. It causes stupidity, literally causes you to not think critically. When you can't think critically, you can't think in high levels. It disconnects you from your heart. It disconnects you from your soul, right? So if you're feeling, even if you are feeling stressed, to be totally compassionate to yourself about that period, about that moment, right? And also, the more you allow compassion and within your heart, and you expand your heart, and you open up your heart, and you stop judging everything that happens to you, it's like you don't even get stressed anymore. Right? I'll tell you this right now, of all the things that there's two things that I'm incredible at. Like these are part of my gifts, right? Number one, it is my ability to embrace uncertainty. I often tell people that I'm a professional lost person. I'm one of the best people that I know at embracing lostness. I know how to tolerate risk, and I know how to embrace whatever the hell's happening on my path. And this is the thing that when I impart this into my clients as well, they just get it. And they're able to tune into this energy from their own unique perspective and derive a ton of truth and a ton of manifestations out of it as well. Okay, if you're interested in working with me, I have a program that I'm launching soon. It's called the Genius Entrepreneur Frequency. I'll leave a link either leave a link in the description, or you can reach out to me on Instagram. So that's number one, it's being able to embrace lostness. And number two is stress tolerance. I handle stress better than almost anybody that I know. It's the ability to sit under pressure and still perform. Even when I was an athlete, this is exactly how I was. When I was in wrestling, the matches that I performed the best in were the ones where I was going against like state champions and national champions and shit like that, right? It was always the person that I knew I was going to win that I had the toughest times, right? But the moment I'm under pressure is when I show up, is when my genius starts to show up, because I trained my mind that in the moments of uncertainty, I will find a way. I trust myself. And the reason I bring this up and the reason I tie this back into this is because when you actually have compassion for yourself and you recognize that every single person is just trying their best, every single person is just living their life, it allows you to develop self-trust and trust in your world. That's the ultimate thing that embracing this perspective will allow you to have. If you just trusted yourself, and you trusted God and God's divine timing, and you trusted that the world is actually holding it down for you, even in the most uncertain of situations. I don't know, you're about to lose the house, or your wife is going to leave you, your husband's going to leave you, or your business is going to shit, and you're not sure what to do with your work or your career or your job, and you're afraid of AI and politics and Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, and oh my gosh, like all these wars and all that shit. It's like, if you just relax into the moment, there's always going to be chaos in the world. There's always going to be crazy shit happening. There always has been. People are like, the world is crazier than ever. No, it's always been fucking crazy. It's literally always been crazy. The world has always been crazy. For as long as humans have been around, the world is fucking crazy, okay? And it's going to continue to be crazy. It's going to stay crazy. It's going to stay crazy, okay? Until we reach a point of critical mass where people awaken to their true consciousness, and then a lot of the craziness will be a relic of the past, or how, right? However, in the current time period, it's like we're not at critical mass yet. So this helps you to achieve a level of consciousness where you just relax and you just trust everything that's happening to you. And from this place of sacred reverence and respect for everything that happens to you and that happens to others and that happens in your experience right now, it's like, this is the thing that allows for the manifestations to show up. This is the thing where your energy has like a sense of gravity to it, right? Think about gravity, where it's pulling objects in, and planets and objects in space with a higher density and a higher mass have a higher gravitational pull, right? It's like this right here, when you trust yourself and you trust everything that's happening to you and you're just relaxed in every single moment and you don't let things get to you, you're not judgmental about it. It's like you literally increase your gravitational pull. You start to pull in better circumstances, better opportunities, better ideas, better methods and strategies that will get you to that next level. And ultimately, it's like when you live like this, it's like you're bulletproof. You're absolutely bulletproof, okay? So I hope this perspective helps you to understand the fact that everything that is happening to you is happening to you exactly as it needs to. And the more you can embrace that and embrace the uncertainty of your experience, the more truth and power you can derive and actually affect change and change your life, change your reality, and tap into more abundance and call in to your experience everything you've ever wanted, everything you've ever needed. Okay, so I hope this perspective helps you out. I love all you guys, and that's pretty much it for me. I'll see you in the next video.